Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Seminary Talks. So this is the first video of the year, and we're going to talk about our new goals for this year with our grades with seminary. So if you are coming back to my channel and if you're watching this segment, you know that Seminary Talks, I just talk about everything seminary or anything that I'm struggling with seminary, or how I am reconciling it with my faith. Yeah, so I keep saying so. Oh my god, that's so annoying. Okay, so this year 2020, we're gonna make sure we make really good grades. As you can tell from the title of this video, I'm mainly talking about grades in the new year. So let me give you brief history on me entering seminary and where I am now. Entered seminary in fall 2018 while still working my full-time job as a financial auditor, and it was very hard. I was very naive. I thought that seminary was just gonna be reading the Bible. Like, I was like, oh, all we're gonna do is read Bible. It's like small group, like, you know, like church. That's a lie. It's not like reading the Bible, and it's not just like Sunday school church or anything like that. Keep in mind, I don't have theological experience. I am straight accounting. I'm a numbers girl, but I really love to dig deeper into the Bible. So, and I also am in seminary because in order to fulfill my ministry duties, I have to go to seminary. I have to obtain my Master's of Divinity. When I entered seminary, I was taking a church history class, and my professor, I would say he was pretty decent. He was actually a visiting professor. That was actually his first year teaching at my school for the class. I went ahead and was taking this class. I was having a good time. There were times where I was kind of confused, but I was like, oh, well, you know, the test won't be that bad. My first exam, I literally failed the heck out of it. I mean, I probably made like a 40. I don't know what it was. And I was so embarrassed and sad, and then it was really embarrassing because I went from you know making A's and B's when I was an undergrad to working and kind of doing well at work, and now I'm in school on top of having an internship. Oh yeah, if you go on my blog, go on my blog and you'll see everything that I'm talking about in detail, but just know that I had a lot of stuff going on. And yeah, so I was studying. I wasn't studying as well as I should have, and basically I just did terrible, and I was just kind of upset. I didn't know how the heck I got here. I remember at the time I kind of teamed up with a group later in the semester, but it was really after I had a talk with another student who was about to graduate the next semester, and she was like, I just hit the camera. Oh, okay. So I had another talk with another girl in my program, and she was about to graduate the next semester, and she was like, blessing, this is what you need to do. You need to prioritize, and you need to, even if you can't read, you need to join a study group, because if you're in a study group, you'll be able to talk to them about what's going on, because there's going to be somebody in the study group that did a lot of the work, and they'll be able to teach it, and you'll be able to understand it on a lower level. So I was just like, okay, you know what, cool. So I ended up joining a study group. In my second exam, I made like a 60 something. It's not just so that the makeup of the exam was kind of difficult. It was like trying to study it. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know my right from my left. I didn't understand the mechanics of studying in this type of practice. I was so used to numbers, where you can just go ahead and memorize a formula and apply it to a situation. I did not understand that, okay, well, I am about to read this in detail and I'm gonna get tested on it. That didn't really click with me well. So anyways, long story short, my first semester in that class, going to school part-time and stuff like that, that first semester, that first grade that I got was a D+ out of that class. And for this class, making that D+ means that my next class for church history has to be a B or higher. I was really disappointed. I remember a lot of people were talking about their grades and stuff, and I was just kind of like embarrassed. Like I was like, I made a D plus, like, you know, I'm dumb, you know, D for dumb. I was really embarrassed. And so the next semester I was like, you know what, I am not going to make the same mistake. I'm gonna have to fix this. I'm going to have to do something about this, otherwise I'm going to land in the same situation. So the next semester and the next semester to follow, which was my past semester, I decided I'm going to join whatever study group I need to. If I need to write papers, I'm going to make sure I go to the library. I'm going to talk to different people. I'm going to allow different people to read my stuff. So my next semester, I ended up making straight A's. And that was super cool making straight A's, because in all those classes, I actually had to write papers. And we only had like, I think 2 or 3 papers in those classes. So I was really excited about that. I was like, okay, like, you know, my writing's a little good. And then after that, this past semester, I was very hesitant. I took an Old Testament class, and everyone always talks about how terrible Old Testament is. Well, not terrible as far as like learning it, but being tested on it. Because like I said earlier in this video, you're not just reading the Bible and getting quizzed on it. I mean, getting tested on it. You are understanding the historicities. You're understanding a lot of different things that you don't get taught at church. Like it's like real, this is real stuff. You're reading a lot of different sources, and you're getting tested on it, tested on your knowledge about it. And you're trying to break it down in a way where that, you know, you're able to explain it to someone else to show that you understand. So this past semester, I made sure that I followed these tips that I'm about to share. And I actually am kind of upset because in my research class, I made a 88, which was very disappointing because I actually ended up turning in my paper late. I turned in a paper late. And when I turned in a paper late, I automatically got 10 points off, which knocked me all the way down from an 86 on my paper to a 76. So I made it 88, even though I could have literally made a solid 91 on that class, in that class, if I would have turned in my paper early. And then in the Old Testament class, I made it 89. So I was really upset about that, because at 89, like, it was like an 89.3 or something like that. And I'm just like, really? Like, so you can't just give me. And I made an 89, and with making that 89, I really missed like simple questions that at the final I just could not like bring myself together to remember. And I was just like, you know, I just threw something in there. So anyways, I'm about to share some tips on what we're gonna do, because it's a new year, and this year we're going to make straight A's, or we're gonna make close to it. And yeah, so stay tuned for the tips on how we're gonna make great grades this semester. Like I stated before, these are the 5 tips that help me improve my grades. And this is probably going to seem simple for you, and if it's too simple for you, click out of this video. This video is not for you. I beg, my friend, go to another video. And if you want something more advanced, this video is for people that are transitioning from the professional life to theological education, and they're trying to understand, like, how can I do better with studying or do better in my classes. So the first tip is to read. Now, some people in school say, oh my gosh, like, you know, you don't have to read everything, which is true. So when you do decide to read, make sure you are reading in the details. Make sure the headings, whatever the heading is for the particular subject. If you guys saw my old video, my past video, you know that this is my favorite book in my Old Testament class. And like, so for instance, what I mean by that is when you read the titles. So like with this, it says the embellishment of the story. So you can already tell, okay, the embellishment of the story. What is this going to talk about? It's going to talk about how the Bible may have, whenever they were writing the stories, some of the details may have been more exaggerated or something like that. So now when you're reading it, you're going to try to find and see if your hypothesis is correct, if that makes sense. Like, you're going to see if what you thought it was going to talk about is correct, and that's going to help you read better. Okay, trust me. I had to figure that out on my own, because I was just sitting here just reading stuff and was like, okay, like I'm just gonna go ahead and go in on this, but I didn't really understand what was going on. So make sure you read, because a lot of your exam questions are gonna come from the reading. And when you are reading, make sure you answer the questions that are in the book, so that you know how to answer the exam questions better. The second tip is to replay lectures. Now, I don't know what seminary you go to, but with my seminary, we have a recording of the lectures every time we have class. So right before the exam, like let's say 2-3 weeks before the exam, you know, I'll go over some of the lecture, some of the parts of the lecture that I didn't understand. And it's just better for me, because I'm able to go back to that moment also when I was in class, like, oh, that didn't make sense to me, let me see why he said that again. And like, because the whole time when I'm in class, I'm just typing, like I'm just like, whoo. And so when I start going back into my notes, I'm like, dang, what he say again? So yeah, make sure you replay those lectures and you try to see what your professor was talking about. Third tip is to go over your past quizzes or your past exams. Now, I don't know if, let me see if I have it. I do. I don't know if you're at the school you go to, if you get your exams back or if you get your quizzes back, but if you do, make sure you go over it, because you can also see the type of questions, well, the style, like how your professor creates the questions. You can kind of see how they're going to develop it in a way or whatever, and kind of go over that. So like for instance, you see with me, I still have some of my quizzes, and you know I did good on my quizzes, okay? Because, well, actually for my quizzes at my school, our quizzes were based on the reading, and the reading is the Bible. But our exams were not really, I mean, it wasn't just solely on the Bible at all. It was like literally on everything else. So with this, the reason why I went over my quizzes is because sometimes my professor kind of like was specific on certain things, and it made me think, okay, he's probably going to delve deeper in this in the exam, or deeper in this in the next study, so the next class session. So, you know, going over the quizzes and going over your past exams will definitely help you to understand the style of the questions, and it'll help you better prepare for future exams. Oh, and also when you review, don't forget to ask your professor if they can go over past, or your TA, if they can go over past exam questions with you. Because if you could go over past exam essay questions and understand the flow of like what's going on, that'll help you understand simple questions like the short answer, or the fill in the blank, or the true and false, or the multiple choice. Yes, all of that is on my exam. I don't know about what school you go to, but going over past essay questions, going over past exams, going over past quizzes that you took, is really helpful to developing your understanding of how your professor is going to test you on the material. Okay, so this is my favorite tip. This actually should have been number 1, but just to let you know, none of this is ranked in order. But tip number 4, sorry. Tip number 4, join a study group. I mean, I wish I could yell this, like, join a study group. Okay, study groups are amazing. I had 2 study groups because one wasn't enough. I joined a study group. My first study group was really good because we always went over the reading and stuff, so it helped me understand what was in the textbook. We went over that together, and then we also went over the test material together. My second study group that I went over, we always went over the homework questions. We always went over the assignments or anything that was coming up, and we always went over the study guide in detail over every little thing. So in my school, we have a study guide, and everything on the study guide is not on the exam. So we just would go over things in a way where one person would kind of like teach something that made sense to them while they were studying, and we're like understanding and learning from them. So the importance of study groups: when you go to study groups, whether you study or not, you are literally like a sponge, because you are trying to understand what's going on, and they're teaching you what's going on from their lens, but with you also reading along, it will help you catch up on the material if you were lost. Trust me, I know. And going to study groups keeps you accountable, so you're not sitting here just going to a study group without studying. At least when you go to a study group, at least read something, like, you know, because at the end of the day, you could go to a study group all day and still fail. So make sure when you go into the study group, you're utilizing the resources of your classmates, your cohort, effectively. So make sure you are studying before. Make sure you are also asking questions during the study group so that other people can say, like, you know what, that's right, that's a good way to think about that, or, oh, I never thought about that before. Help other people understand things that you understand. So yeah, going to a study group really helped me a lot, and I'm so grateful for the study groups that I was a part of. So the next tip is the Pomodoro Technique. So the reason why I put this as a tip for to improve my grades is because the Pomodoro Technique is basically a timer where you do work for 25 minutes and then for 5 minutes you take a break. And there's actually different settings if you get the app, but I usually go on YouTube and I search for Pomodoro Technique, and it comes up, and it's usually in a 4 or 5 hour time span where I am literally doing work, but I have breaks that are intermingled in between the study time, so it doesn't feel as, like, you know, daunting. And the beautiful thing about the Pomodoro Technique is that it allows you to just zone in your work for 25 minutes. And 25 minutes seem like such a short period of time, because it is. But, you know, if you're on social media or if you are not doing work, it just seems like, oh, time just goes by so fast. But if you're focused on something, time will also go by fast, but you will also be more productive than you've ever been. So I really enjoy the Pomodoro Technique, and I recommend it to every and anybody. Like, I even use it while I'm at work. Like, I try to do as much work in 25 minutes, take a break for 5 minutes. Do much work in 25 minutes, take a break for 5 minutes. Now, sometimes I'll be doing work for 20 minutes and I'm like, ah, dang, you know, I gotta take like a 30-minute break. But whatever the case is, the Pomodoro Technique keeps me on task, and that's why I love it. And it's like the perfect study tool that I use that's helped me to improve my grades. I did not put this on my list, but I guess it's like a bonus or whatever. But guys, if you have not gotten a planner, get a planner. Get a planner, because it sounds so basic, but I love planners. But at the time, I was not scheduling out for some reason I wasn't scheduling out my exams. So as soon as you get your syllabus, you get your planner, and you put in all the dates. And one of the things is timing is key. For me, I don't know about you, I need a week and a half to 2 weeks to study for an exam and do well on it. Now, sometimes I get a week. One time I did it in 4 days. I don't like rushing, so I will never do that again. But if you space out your timing and do that, then you're able to gather way more information. The more information you know and the more information you have, then you're gonna do well on the exam, and you're going to make straight A's like we said we were going to do in 2020. So yeah, I know that was a lot, but yeah, we're going to make great grades this semester. And yeah, no more D's, because we're not dumb. We're gonna excel, we're gonna make A's. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you different tips, and I was actually inspired to make this video by someone else who kind of helped me with trying to develop my better study habits and better ways to go from making a D+ to making straight A's, or, you know, making better grades so that I can, like, you know, keep scholarship and also keep my dignity. So yeah, anyways, thank you so much for joining this video. Don't forget to check out my other videos, and check out Farfromacurse.com, where I have other information there for you. Yeah, so anyways, thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you on the next Seminary Talks video. Bye.